I like having minis. They're just so easy to collect and so small. Hi friends, and welcome back to my channel in the videos where I sit on the ground in front of my yarn stash and talk to you guys. If you are new here, my name is Kristen and I am a knitter and military spouse currently living in Denver, Colorado with my family. Today's video is my monthly stash in and stash out video, and these are the videos where I sit and tell you about all the different projects that I finished. Just very briefly, I go into more details about them in my podcast episodes, but these videos are just a way to count the amount of stash I get out by seeing how many projects I finished this month and then how much stash I bring in, with the ultimate goal of this year of trying to use more stash than what I bring into my life. So every month I come and I sit in front of my yarn cubibles with my Expo board that tracks all my changes and share with you guys my new yarns and what I've finished. If you're new here, I hope this is exciting and you will join us for this video. If you'd like more information about what I knit and things like that, that happens more in my podcast episodes, which one should be going up next week. I like to do these stash in and stash out videos once a month. Usually it's my first video of each month so I can tally up my yarn changes. So honestly, I'm not feeling 100% today. I have this weird kind of like bug happening, so I don't feel amazing, but I did want to sit down and record with you guys because that doesn't take a lot of movement, and honestly, recording, I love talking to you guys. So let's go dive into what I finished this past month. I do have them here to show you guys, but I will go into more details about like needle sizes and stitch counts in next week's podcast episode. But this month I finished quite a few pairs of socks, which shouldn't be surprising. I didn't finish any of my big projects, but I did finish socks. So I finished my Desert Vista dye work socks. So each month I am doing a pair of socks from Desert Vista Dye Works, and you have the option of doing long or short socks. I did 2 short socks this month, and they used the same skein of yarn. Mine used a mini skein with it. And then I knit a pair for Shane and didn't use the mini skein. So this counts as 1 skein out because I used 1 skein from my stash. I then also finished a pair of Felici shorty socks for my husband. These have been on the needles for quite a long time, but I finished them this month because they were very close to being done and should have been done a while ago. But this used 2 skeins of Felici, so that's 2 more skeins out. And then I knit a pair of DK socks for a class I am teaching at Fancy Tiger Crafts. These technically don't count as any stash out. They also didn't count as stash in. I got the yarn from work to make the sample and didn't count it as yarn from my stash, so it's also not stash going out. It's just a even trade there. So, all in all, knitting wise, these were yarns that came from my stash. 3 skeins of yarn out this past month. And that's it. A lot of my bigger projects I am working on and I'm close. They're not done. They're just not done, and that's okay. It'll be fine. Okay, my camera did something really weird. It like cut off recording partway through. So I think the last thing in the clip I told you was about how initially this year I said in these stash in and stash out videos I would show some of my Scrappy projects, and I really haven't done that since the first video. I haven't been working much on my Cozy Memories blanket. And I also have a Cozy Comfort Throw, which is a scrappy blanket pattern, and I haven't really worked on them much. I do have plans of getting back to those now. I think picking them up more often would be beneficial and fun to do. So I'm trying to clear some of my whips down to help make it so I can work on some more things a little more often. But with that, I did destash quite a bit of yarn this past month. I list all my yarns on my Ravelry page. I have a will sell or trade. There's a section on Ravelry. So I have all the ones that I am destashing up there, and I post on the Ravelry forums about destashing yarns, and usually it's pretty successful. I just try to destash some yarns that I don't have plans for in the near future, that just aren't inspiring me as much. This cubby system does kind of give me, when I have too much, it does kind of give me too much anxiety, especially when I don't have plans for specific yarns for projects. Sock yarn I feel is a little different because I know I can pick it up and put it down anytime, and I can pick different sock patterns depending on yarn. But some of the bigger quantities do kind of stress me out just a bit. So I did go through and try to destash a bit this month. I listed a ton of yarns on that page, and I ended up destashing 33 skeins of yarn, which is quite a substantial amount, although it looks like not even a dent in this little cubicle. So with that, with 3 skeins of knitting out and 33 skeins of destash, that puts me at a negative 36 skeins for the month. So stash out of 36 skeins, which honestly is pretty good. It makes me excited because I think that'll put me into a negative number for stash in and out for the year, which is the goal. Also, I was pretty conservative, I think, with bringing stash ins. So it's going to be a good month. It might be a shorter video than some, but I'm excited to show you guys what I have. So if we're good, let's move on to what I brought in this month. So the first thing I brought in is not stash yarn, but it is something I would like to show you guys. I am currently hosting the Do So Spring 22 Make Along, which is just taking your making outside in any shape or form outside of your home. So just post a photo on Instagram using the hashtag Do So Spring 22 MAL. I've been sharing them a lot on my stories, and I posted a bit in my last podcast, and I want to encourage you guys to post more. The make along goes through the end of spring, which is June 21st, and I have a couple prizes. These are prizes from Allie Pate of Road Trip Sock Yarn. She was so generous to donate some yarn for the giveaway for the winner that I'll be pulling from that hashtag at the end of the make along. So I want to show you guys what she gave. So this is her 1879 to 1910 Detroit. It's on her fingering weight Superwash Merino nylon and Stellina fingering weight base. I love Allie's speckles. I think she does them so well, and like this variation of color here is so fun. So this is one of the prizes of one of the skeins. It's also super soft. I know you can't really see the Stellina on the screen here, but it is there, I promise. It is very pretty. It's very subtle, but very pretty. And her yarn is so soft. So that is the first one. And then the second one, this is Penelope, and this is her fingering weight 85 superwash merino and 15% nylon. And it's inspired by this little cat. So she has a line of yarn called Herd of Cats, which donates proceeds to cats that need help finding a home. And this is the skein of yarn inspired by Penelope. So this is also one of the prize yarns for the giveaway. So these are going into the prize basket, and I hope you guys love it so much. And I encourage you to post more and share me how you're taking your making outside. I do a lot of car knitting, and especially with the weather being slightly nicer, I like sitting on my balcony in the morning. So there's lots of different ways you can go outside. We can all say hello to Sherlock. No, you can't come over here, not now. But yes, it's been so much fun seeing what you guys are making and how you're taking it outside, and I hope this little casual knit along has been a lot of fun. Okay, and now we can move into the yarns that I bought and put into my stash this month. If you saw at the beginning of the month, I did do a little reel about some yarns that I got in, and most of these are from that. I did a lot of yarn buying like almost at the end of April, so they came in early May. But yeah, my first thing is my Patreon sock set from a homespun house. This is the March Patreon sock set. The colors are Tea Room and Bubblegum. So it's a 50-gram skein of fingering weight and a 20-gram mini, 75% superwash merino and 25% nylon. These just scream spring to me. I love them. They're so cute. So, and with summer sock camp, I really just want to knit a lot of socks when I get done with some of my other projects. Sherlock cannot get comfortable. It's quite funny. Also with my Homespun House Patreon, I get 3 Patreon minis a month. These are Neon and Spandex, Refresh, and Teddy. So I know this one is Teddy. I think this is Neon and Spandex, and this is Refresh. So these would be fun to pair with the tops. I also have been thinking about maybe making a granny square blanket with all of these minis. However, Molly has been posting lots of socks where she uses a different mini for cuff, heel, and toe, and I've just been loving it. So maybe some of them will go to that. I don't know. I like having minis. They're just so easy to collect and so small. So yes, those were my Homespun House stash-ins for the month. I then also placed an order from Needles at the Ready. If you guys have seen on their podcast, Kevin has been doing more dyeing and has gotten really good at it. Is really good at it from the beginning, honestly. And some of the colors this past time, I was like, I have to have them. They're so good. And I was really just stocking up on socks yarns for Summer Sock Camp, which is a knit along hosting this summer from Kay of the Crazy Sock Lady. Above these 3 cubbies are all sock yarn. And this whole cubby, this is all Regia sock yarn. So I have 4 cubbies of sock yarn. Did I need more sock yarn? Absolutely not. Did I buy more anyway? Absolutely yes, because these are so good. So there are 2 different bases that I ordered on. So I will show them based on the base. So this first one is the 7525 Superwash Merino and Nylon. It is a 4-ply. This is the one that got me. This is Prismatic Spring. This really reminds me of, I don't know, it's just good. There's a color from Stranded Dye Works that's similar with like blues and browns, and I've always really liked that combo. So I definitely grabbed onto this. And then this one on the same base is called Asteroid Belt. And this one Kevin knitted up into a hat, I believe. And these are just so good. Look at these speckles. Like I said, I'm a sucker for a good speckle. A good, crisp speckle. And this looks like an asteroid belt, which I really, really love. They have writing on the inside of their tag too, which I didn't realize. That's so cool. So 2 of those. And then I got 2 on the Apollo base, which is 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon. And then 80-20 is my favorite because usually the ply is so crisp, which I really like. So this one is Elementary, which also this one, I was like, I have to get it because Sherlock and Elementary and Sherlock, and so I loved this one. Just a really pretty blues. I could use this in a lot of things. It'd be a nice hat. Also socks. And then Cool Mint is the last color I got. Which it's a little more green undertone in person. But a good like neutral to pair with things. So yes, these are the 4 skeins I got from Needles at the Ready. I love them and can see myself making lovely socks. The green here you can see a bit better when it's not alone. And like the speckles. The speckles. So yes, those are 4 skeins I got from them. I just want to make so many socks right now. And use all the things. Okay. I also placed an order from Crazy Sock Lady Co. I've also placed an order when her summer sock camp one launched. But I did order ahead of time to get some DK yarn in for summer sock camp. So I ordered this skein from Happy Mermaid Yarn Co. This is her Platinum DK 7525 Merino and Nylon Superwash Merino. And this is the color Bubblegum, which I just really liked the colors. There's greens and yellows and navy in there with these little blips of like red. So I'm very excited to see how this knits up. I've just wanted a couple DK skeins for socks just to like really power through some. And I also got the Crazy Sock Lady color from Kimber's Cozy Creations. There's her logo. This is Tough Sock Set 7525, and you get a mini skein with it and 100 grams of your main. This is the Crazy Sock Lady color. I've been eyeing this color for a really long time, ever since Kay knit her sample in it. And I finally bit the bullet and got the DK sock set, and I'm so excited to knit this up, honestly. So, tons of sock yarns in. I am pretty proud that I only ordered 2. That's pretty, like, holding myself back. I only ordered 2, and I love both of them, and have good intentions of knitting them very, very soon. Okay, I then had to buy yarn. Had to. That's probably not the right term, but it's fine. I am teaching the Inclinations KAL and shawl class at Fancy Tiger Crafts. Yeah, so I needed to buy some yarns to go with some stash yarns to knit the KAL. I pulled out these 2 skeins of yarn from my stash. These are DK skeins. It is Audine Wool's Flannel, and the color is Buffalo, and this is a Surrey alpaca wool and non-superwash merino blend. So I grabbed these to use as my main color, or one of the colors in the Inclinations KAL. I love these and wanted this to be something around my neck. And so I took these and I found 2 skeins of Spincycle to go with them. So I bought these 2 skeins of Spincycle. This is Dead Reckoning dyed in the wool. The yarn is dyed in the wool. The colorway is Dead Reckoning. It's this like blue robin's egg with blips of purple. I picked ones with a good amount of purple in them. And this is a sport weight yarn. Here's their logo. I'm sure most people know this logo. So this is 200 yards of a sport weight, and it is just wool, just superwash American wool. So those are those, and I'll be holding it with these to make my KAL. I think it's a good amount of contrast, and it will still coordinate and match, and I'm very excited to teach this class and to work on these. The Spincycle is a bit of a splurge, but I feel good that I didn't get 4 skeins of Spincycle, that I pulled 2 from my stash that I love, and then got 2 to go with it. So it'll be like a 2 in, but then a 4 out when I finish, which is pretty good. And that wraps up all the yarns that I brought in this month. All in all, I only brought in 9 skeins this month, and I took out 36. So with 36 out and 9 in, that puts me at a negative 27 for the month. I was at a plus 14 for the year. So 14 minus 27 puts me at a negative 13. What I'm realizing is I am only negative because I destashed yarn and not because the amount I use yarn, which is also why I think I've really slowed down on yarn purchases. You can only knit so fast. And I like, you know, getting inspired by a project and then the yarn coming and then being able to cast on. I think that's really fun. And when I have a lot going on, it's really hard to focus. So yes, that's one of my goals, is to really pull back on my yarn buying and my works in progress so that I can really focus on what's calling to me in that moment. So that's all for the stash in and stash out. I hope you enjoyed this video. I do want to ask one question before I leave off today, if you guys will indulge me in answering this. I have been thinking about potentially making a Patreon. The Patreon would probably only be a couple dollars a month, and with that I would post some more just like really casual, just kind of chatting to the camera kind of videos. Ideas I have are just kind of like recently I had to frog back one of my projects, and I would have liked to just sit down to the camera and just chat to you very minimally, with very minimal editing afterwards, just very casual. Sit down, talk to the camera, talk about my process, talk about how I'm feeling. Just sit down and chat videos. I'd probably want to do one once a week for like chatting and just seeing how I feel and what I'm excited about. If there's anything that's calling to me or anything that I'm feeling frustrated by. So let me know if that sounds interesting. I've been toying with the idea for a while, and I just didn't know how to execute it. I would like to keep more blogs completely just on YouTube, but I feel like more like casual and intimate talks about what I'm thinking and what I'm knitting on, and just they'd be less editing, just really sit down, talk, post kind of type videos, I think. So let me know if that's something you'd be interested in. I'm also thinking maybe a second tier for like a monthly or twice a month Zoom. So let me know. Let me know if a Patreon is something you're interested in, and if what kind of benefits you'd like. I'd like to just connect more with everyone. But yeah, that is that for this video. Ebony is deciding to crawl into everything. Yeah. So I'm going to leave you guys there. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you'd like to be notified when I post my future videos. I hope you guys are putting a little bit of love into every stitch of your knitting. Thank you for clicking. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys again very soon. This is honestly going to be a really short stash in and stash out because this is only 15 minutes so far. So what happens when you don't buy a lot of yarn?